Hey everyone, and welcome to the Python primer part of this workshop. Now, I want to just talk to you about what this is for and sort of who it's for and how it can best be used. So this is essentially a very short module as sort of the beginning of this workshop, just to prepare people for using Python in production. Now, if you already know Python very well, then you can probably just skip this section. It's just going to cover everything you sort of need to know, sort of the basics, maybe a little bit beyond the basics. But if you really know Python thoroughly, just skip this section and move on to the practical section, which is really the main part of the workshop, is actually building tools. But for those who maybe know some Python, have used it a while ago, but haven't touched it in a while, or haven't ever used it in Houdini, but have used it in other contexts, you might want to briefly go through this section, just as a refresher, so that you're prepared for using it in the tools. And for those who are new to Python, either they've very vaguely dabbled at some point but never really got into it, or have never touched it before, this is mostly going to be for you. But if you are very new to it, I would suggest that this section you probably want to go through several times. So the key to this is I'm going to make this module as short and concise as possible. It's going to be very condensed with lots of information. So we're not going to make this sprawling sort of beginner course. It's rather going to be a very short, it's almost like a crash course or a reminder, right? So for those who are brand new to it, it's going to be your cheat sheet for how to sort of, the context and syntax and just the way to kind of use Python and some of the most common modules and methods and things like that, right? So if you're brand new to it, I would suggest you go through it maybe just once on its own, then another time just maybe following along and playing, maybe between each section, you just play around and see what you can do in Python until you're a bit more familiar with it. Also, don't feel afraid to come back to this section. So when we start working with Python in the actual tools and you think, I'm not really sure, I can't remember that part of it, just come back and do it again. That's why I'm going to make this section very, very concise. We're not going to have big, long explanations. It's just going to be almost bullet point. This is how you use Python. All right. So most of your learning in this is going to come from the practical section. This is just almost a crash course, a reminder, a cheat sheet, however you want to think of it. And that's why I've called it a primer. It's sort of just preparing you for the workshop. Okay. Likewise, there will be a Vex primer as well for anyone who's maybe newer or needs a reminder on Vex. Okay. So I'll see you guys in the lesson.